It all just felt right for Tainted Minds, and it felt so damn wrong for Sin.
And all the puzzle pieces fit when Tainted Minds developed that team composition where Sin, they were trying to put a star into a circle and just wasn't having it.
It's like a kid's toy.
Yeah.
I remember those.
Yeah.
The ball, the orb where you had, like, you could break it in half and pull the shapes out if you wanted to start it again.
That's the one.
I didn't study primary teaching.
All right, we see Tainted Minds. They've taken away
shapes.
that Italy. Shapes. Is that one of the
Oh, no.
majors for the degree?
No, I
Oh.
love the old shapes. The new ones are disgusting.
Oh, yeah. I had pizza shapes the other night. The worst thing I've ever tasted.
I apologize to everybody that I just tilted by bringing those up.
Oh, well. Well, Lucian gets banned away. It's game number 3, Rusty. Come on, we got to stay back on track here. We got to bring the hype. Game number 3 between Tainted Minds and Sin. Both these guys at their peak have been looking impeccably. If Sin don't completely ruin their own draft, we're going to have a very competitive game on our hands.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we have to note the first things first. They're on the opposite side of the map now. Sin red side won't ban that Swain, you would imagine. Dependent on the bans on the side of Tainted Minds, who this last time around, when they were on blue, banned Juves out, picked the Rek'Sai, which wasn't too highly prioritized. Only was by them.
Yeah, they really value that Rek'Sai. Did a great deal of work in game number 2. We will see a very repeat ban on that Bard all 3 games. They really don't want Rosie to get his hands on that.
I like this, though, because they banned it second instead of getting rid of the strong pick that they usually would in the Rise. Kind of taunting Tainted Minds to maybe ban it themselves. Perhaps give more availability to the last ban of Sin's draft. Dangerous game to play, however, because you might be forced into a Rise ban. We'll see how they go.
If they're going with it anyway, can't hurt to play a little bit of mind games here, but there is the Swain getting taken away from Squiggle, an absolute monster in game number 1. Truly the downfall of Tainted Minds. So Zed and Swain, both of them, contributing equally in factor to that.
And of course the necessity of ban that is just forced out by Sin. We'll see where Tainted Minds actually go towards, remembering that the Rek'Sai seems to always be their highly prioritized champion. We know that this is what they should be looking towards, I will say, given how Lost performed. And there you go.
Well, now that they've taken the Ezreal, let's hope that Sin can answer with an 80 carry, not a Corki.
Yeah. I mean, there are still Sivir, Caitlyn. They've got Jinx if you really wanted. I mean, there's going to be a lot of AD carries. That preference to Corki needs to be thrown out the window. I also think that Rogue should be playing something more like a Thresh if he really wants to. Maybe even go for the Braum if it comes to it. But just play something a little bit different. Survive your bottom lane. The Nami was fine. That they won by having a bottom lane that was not struggling, that was simply sustaining, and then winning with Rymeister, winning with Squiggle as well. Actually doing work on the top half of their map. I just feel like Sin sometimes forget that the top half of their map might be the strong half, simply because they work through mid.
Let's see if they can understand what they need to do in order to win this game. Taking away the Rek'Sai and picking up that Echo could be the foundations of a Game 3 win here.
Yeah, good first draft. They don't go for the Trundle. This time around they look at the Echo. So a slight alteration. We'll see if Salzahu, knowing that it's an Echo now, though, looks towards the Trundle himself. The Fiora was quite successful. It seems like he has an inclination to consistent split pushing options. Juves with that Rek'Sai as well, denying it from Zahi, and we have to see something new from him finally in our 3rd game in this series.
Yeah, really interested to see what he goes with. Looks like it will be the Gragas, though. Locks that in, as I say it, to quell any doubt in my mind that it may have been a Kindred, which is still available.
Yeah, Kindred left up, probably the best jungler, best ganker. Says that Juves was denying it and that Zahi still wanted to do what a Rek'Sai wanted. There you go.
Play your style, man. You be you.
Absolutely. I rate Gragas quite highly at the moment. In fact, I was going to suggest that Juves played it if there was no Kindred available.
Omni, he's got him, got Salzahu. That Fiore did work on it after Zahi spent a little bit of time, a lot of time, getting him ahead in that top lane. So hopefully Squiggle can put that doubt out of his mind and play his game. But hovering over that Yasuo, I wouldn't even consider them picking up, but they picked Corki, so I'm going to say
well, Rymeister does play Yasuo.
Sure.
He's a very strong Yasuo player. It's not something that he should, this early in the draft, go towards, remembering that they're on the red side of the map, so their last pick option usually goes towards that middle lane, which means right now they'll pick their bottom lane. All things considered, it should be something like a Caitlyn Braum.
Let's see if Rogue has taken the advice on board. The Nami did well. Twitch, though. And Orianna, actually, so saving that last pick for the support.
As you do. They love that Orianna at the moment. I don't think Ori's a bad champion by any means. The changes to Morello, Nomicon, it's actually quite strong. And Ori does a lot of damage. Still, that's a blind Ori picked. You would have to imagine that Omni might even look towards that LeBlanc once again. He's still got his Azir available. Even Victor actually is there right now.
That is true.
I'm just honestly perplexed that they choose the Orianna and that they prioritize that Orianna over the Victor, over Azir, over LeBlanc, and every single other strong champion that we have seen played locally and internationally as a high priority option.
Look, it is a bit strange to say the least, but Sin, Rymeister in particular did get a few good shockwaves. Sure, they weren't enough to win game number 2.
Not the point that I'm making either. I think Rymeister's a great Orianna player. I just don't rate the champion at the moment.
You can do a lot more when given the Victor and Azir. I agree with you on that one. And last game, Omni did a great job of picking Orianna into that, not Orianna, LeBlanc rather, into that Orianna. So it's all on Rogue. What is it you're going to pick here, the Braum or the Thresh?
Actually change things up as well in Tainted Minds and lock in a Janna for
true.
Rosie in the support role. Not something you're used to seeing from him.
Very different. Likes those AP carries, especially now that Karma's thrown back into the mix. Zyra did a great job on Zyra, but it looks like Rogue will be going back to his roots, picking up that Thresh. So Thresh Twitch. Maybe they read Frostgurren's Twitter and had a quick look at how the Shockwave with 5-man spray and pray, rat-a-tat-tat, sorry.
Can do work. Absolutely. Looking at the team composition Sin have put together, I feel a lot more content coming into this third game. Tainted Minds ringing very similar to their game 1. Of course, the replacement of Rek'Sai for Gragas. Compliments of Juves taking that one away, and Rosie also reacting to the Twitch being picked in, the Orianna being picked in, going towards the likes of the Janna, so a disengage option, a re-engage potentially option as well with the sustain that comes out of that Monsoon, and to keep Lost alive, as that is priority number 1 for any Tainted Minds team composition that they always assemble.
I mean, they know just how well Lost can do when he gets his hand on either Lucian or Ezreal, and of course we're never going to see the Lucian because he's absolutely dope on it, but Ezreal, it does well. It does well, especially with Janna there to facilitate that extra damage, keep him safe. The Tornado's always a great tool when Thresh goes in for that clean hook. But remember, guys, get on Twitter, #TMWin or #SinWin to show your love and support for these teams. It is game number 3, guys. Next win will take it away. Both these guys looking impeccable at their peak.
Yeah, we've seen the strengths of both of these teams. We've also seen the weaknesses of both of these teams, and a little bit of inconsistency washes away the strengths that we have noted. So coming into this third game, I think it's invaluable that they draft themselves for success, which they have. They now need to start off with that execution. And this all starts at that level 1 mark where we say, does Sin actually just lane swap this time around? They've got the Twitch. They're very much capable of doing it. Will they, though?
They've been reluctant to do so as of yet. See them all walking down to lane now, and the jungle pressure that Zahi was able to exert last game was very favorable to Sazahu. He knew Lost was able to hold his own at that stage in the game, so focused on getting the remaining lanes ahead. See the 2 top laners just doing top laney things, whacking away at each other.
As they do. As this seems to be no exception in the middle lane also. Rap's having a giggle. Twitch is one of the more obnoxious champions in terms of sound pack as well.
You don't say.
No, I do say. I stand by that too.
Rogue should be able to get the free recall, the ward. Dropped a second too late to have any hope of interrupting that one.
The point being, we're looking at a 5-star kind of fan defense from both.
Standard lanes by looking at it.
Yeah, which means it will be most assuredly standard lane. Sometimes teams will do this and they'll recall it about a minute swap so that it's unexpected as a lane swap. But they want that standard lane. I don't think there's too much of a concern around a lane swap in a Dragon Force either, given that it's a Cloud Drake. And here's the least impactful of all of the Drakes.
That ward by Rosie will spot out the likes of Raps and Rogue, so Tainted Minds do have confirmation that this will be standard lanes, if they had any doubt after the Rogue recall.
Now, which means they get that camp. Not advantage because it will be matched. Janna are also quite good at enabling this camp to be taken with relatively high health when they make it back to lane, whereas on the flip side, the Relic Shield compensates for a bit of that.
Lost does miss 1 CS, so not too bad though. Does actually buff his stats by getting 2 of the minion camps opposed to one Gromp.
I will admit, I do like the sneaky part of a Twitch.
Yeah. He does have some winners, I will say, but overall it is very scummy to listen to. Especially when he eats that moldy potato. Is it moldy cheese?
I haven't got a clue.
I think it's his taunt, maybe. But in the top lane, yeah, these guys, you know, just doing their thing. We saw Salzahu, when he gets ahead, definitely has the ability to 1v1 out Squiggle. But Squiggle is on a different champion this game.
Yeah, and Zahi's also on a different champion, so we'll see if he does the big swip special and puts that Bush Tucker in the top lane. Or if he just decides that top lane's not for him anymore.
Sure.
Focuses elsewhere. Greg is still quite good at ganking it, I think is an important thing to note. Matches Rek'Sai with early pressure. As speaking of the Devils.
Junglers are going to match up here as the body slam does go a little bit wide, but 2 buffs taken for Zahi while Juves sit pretty on 1 red.
Aiming for the Duke, of course. He doesn't blatantly miss in body slam. Not that Duke can tell him. Duke at the right time. He was burrowed. Squiggle actually getting wrecked.
A lot of damage coming down. Forces the flash, so Salzahu making the Fiora shine once again.
Yeah, and Squiggle had actually put himself into a hole there, so that was his last-ditch attempt to out-trade. Salzahu still having 2 stacks on his corrupting potion to what was none of that Echo. Not ideal. Thankfully, it's enough for a Dark Seal on a Pink Ward, so realistically the Echo should be fine from now. But if Salzahu can force potions before he goes back, you call it a pretty big win.
Yeah, well, straight away, look at the damage coming out. No flash available, keep in mind. Can't proc the vitals. There it is. One more should do it. Salzahu does have his flash available. One more auto attack for first blood. Tainted Mind start off strong.
And honestly, Squiggle has never ceased to amaze me with his unusual decision making. Yes, you came back to lane. Yes, you have a slight edge in items, but the Dark Seal's immediate strength is really just the sustain that you get. You can't afford to, when a level down, commit to that Fiora. Exactly what the Fiora does is see that and raise you a death.
Yeah, especially when you have no flash available. Very greedy. Here comes Juves. The hook does land onto Rosie. That's 1 dead Janna. So Sin answer with one of their own.
And Raps unfortunately does not get the last hit. The Expunge doesn't secure it. The Ignite does. And whilst they get Rosie, they get a lot of control in that bottom lane and force a recall. The money's not in the perfect person's hands. Very unlucky.
Let's hope Rogue can maybe get some wards out and allow that gold advantage that he does have now to turn into vision advantage.
I think the biggest thing to me, looking at Sin, and I don't want to be too harsh on Squiggle, so I won't. It's just that he doesn't realize that he's meant to facilitate. Just be a tank. You don't have to fight the Fiora and potentially win that lane if you can just get ahead by 2 or 3 CS. Even if you don't get ahead by 2 or 3, be down 2 or 3 CS. Just don't die. Your team's win conditions align very heavily with your mid lane and jungle duo, getting things done as a team.
And here comes Zahi up in that top lane. He knows that Squiggle is missing both his summoners, but now starting to show some respect. But Salzahu's already got himself that Tiamat, so clearing these waves with very easy. Here comes Rogue though, waiting off into the wings.
Look how aggressive Rhymice is playing this on
No
purpose.
ulti just yet. Omni does have flash and distort available. Shouldn't be a kill.
Good reservation from the LeBlanc to save that distort, though his mana is now waning due to having to use all of those spells. Rhymice once again having that level 6 edge in this lane.
Going down to bot lane though, along with Juves.
For hooks on, they're dead.
Yep. The minion wave does get there just in time to block out any of the CC and Lost just ease into him. Absolutely no fear.
No. And the rest of them, of course, backed off once that hook missed. There was no follow-up available. Rogue, unfortunate timing with that wave.
Big minion wave building. Going to be up to Lost to secure this one away. Zahi is there, just in case. Juves had stuck around to maybe go for a dive, but they can tell by Rogue's positioning, nothing more going to come of it.
Yeah, so everything settles down once again. A lot of map movement, however, out of Rogue and Juves trying to work in tandem. The strength of the Lantern in any lane can prove potent, as the Twitch is now being sneaky. Hi. Hello.
Yeah, Rogue unfortunately couldn't get in to get that hook. Rosie just standing behind those minions, keeping himself safe. no reason to do anything other
He
than
says
that.
that so loudly.
Yeah, no,
Sorry, that hi was overwhelmingly loud, so I responded.
it was good. I like that one.
Aww. It's like the LCK Lissandra sounds.
Oh.
Like that is.
That's obnoxious.
If you've never watched LCK, Lissandra is a pain in the bum.
It always comes back to Doa shouting "Shut up, Nami" as well. It's a great moment. We see Omni going to be donated his blue buff by Zahi. Pretty standard stuff going on. It is game number 3, so neither of these guys want to do that kind of terrible play that snowballs away. But as I say, that Squiggle really feeling the repercussions of that early aggression.
Yeah, and speaking of snowball, Fiora is doing absolutely that. Remembering this matchup is not meant to be this one-sided in a 1v1 standard scenario, but it definitely feels that way until further notice. Saza, who's having a great time. Zahi still even putting his he double ward that?
He did. Smashing whatever key he's got that ward on. Looks like the junglers will be meeting each other. Both level 6. Juice is able to clean out that ward. Another ward goes down, though. How many does he have? 2 from his trinket, 2 from his item.
Oh, yeah. I still don't know how he, like... Fair enough, man. Everyone's got problems. It's a pretty big one, though, for Zahi. Pretty much all of his vision now just ruined.
Yep.
Still trying to establish control. Of course, working on that top side of the map is what Zahi's looking to do. Juves being able to respond quickly enough with his tunnel in level 6 could come in handy. Could actually prove invaluable. But first things first, Rymeister needs to win his lane, so get him that blue buff.
Here comes Zahi. Rymeister just going to back off away from that one. Very smart play. Doesn't want to be over-aggressive for no reason.
Yeah, and a second longer in that middle lane could have spelled at least a flash burnt, because Zahi can feign the body slam flash combo. You never have to use it. Usually they'll just flash because they are scared.
And against an Orianna, you have to respect it.
Yeah.
Not Orianna.
As Orianna,
yep.
and against the Blanc and Gragas, you definitely have to respect the burst. Ori's also lack of mobility as a champion does make things a little bit difficult. This bottom lane still, I will say, Sin doing their part by having this as even. The scaling that comes out of a Twitch going to be quite scary. The Shockwave now has extra damage to follow it up if it hits.
Lost might get caught out here. Does have the E available, so shouldn't be in any real danger from the Rek'Sai. The unburrow did miss.
Yeah, and a nice tornado from Rosie as well to kind of cancel that burrow halfway through. Still good little steps here from Tainted Minds. Doesn't mean that they have enough faith to walk up in this lane. And that'll be very good.
Lost is able to get all of those minions with the ultimate, so feeling good about that one. Raps. He just wants to farm for a little bit. Did pick up that cull on his way to the Ghost Blade, so wants to make sure he can get that item fully stacked before the first fight starts, so that influx of gold allows him to be a pesky little Twitch.
And just a bit of extra sustain against the poke that comes out of an Ezreal. Having the Janna behind him as well means a little bit more aggressive is the name of the game for Lost, as you can see.
The hero minion takes the hook. Rogue takes a lot of damage for one flay.
Yeah.
Doesn't have any potions left at the moment.
Overzealous to try and get a single trade back in their favor, because Lost is just one man handling the two people of Sin. Juve's also putting a lot of attention towards this bottom side of the map, ensuring that Lost doesn't get ahead. Feels like they play damage control till the mid-game, hit a team fight, through that team fight try and snowball the game out. But until such a time, Sin are just going to hang out, have a great time on the Rift, maybe play some noughts and crosses.
That's it, right? There's not a lot they can really do against a super safe bot lane. Should anything, maybe Lost overstays his welcome, oversteps a little bit. There is Rosie with the Monsoon and the Tornado, keep them at bay. Zahi does get hooked. Rogue looking to make a play here. The box goes down, but Lost is strong. Here comes the teleport. The explosive cast batters them away. The teleport does get completed here.
Yeah, knocks them away, though, quite nicely, because Rogue gave them the lantern to safety. I think he even flashed afterwards, so Zahi gives them the escape, but it was also crafted by Sin. It will mean a Drake, potentially.
He wants to go in for this one. He's got his sight set on Rogue. There is the heal. Two members go down, one apiece. Lost picking up that one, but another kill going over to Rogue.
Yeah, interesting stuff here. Rogue shouldn't be the one getting the kills, but Sin are definitely fighting
A lot of damage from that Orianna this early on.
That's a fake. But that also just means that Rymeister completely outtrades Omni, forces him back to base, and gives more time for himself. Once again, Rymeister, an exceptional mid lane player, making life difficult for the LeBlanc from Tainted Minds.
Didn't even burn the Shockwave. This time Omni actually going for that Morellonomicon. Last game he went for that early magic resistance to keep himself safe against Rymeister, so this is why so much damage actually getting outputted here.
Yeah, there's a lot of damage from that LeBlanc, but you have to remember that he's going to be taking a lot of damage from Rymeister. Such is the trade-off that you make. I do still think Abyssal Scepter is arguably a better option as a first buy. You can still afford to go Morello second if you want it that badly. Would have preferred this in game number 1 against the Swain as well. But he was playing Azir, so kind of bottlenecked themselves into this really awkward situation. Now that we've come into game 3, and we're getting towards the middle stage of this game, nothing has really exploded.
Yeah. Kills and gold dead even at the moment. Gold favoring Sin about 400. No towers, no dragons for either squad here. The junglers have just always been right next to each other. Every time we look at bot lane, there's Zahi, there's Juice. Rogue tries to make a play. Zahi comes in from the side to ensure that nothing goes sour. Squiggle doing a good job, despite getting behind early on in this game, to stay relevant at least. But look at Loss. He plays so aggressive. A good tornado has to flash the hook from Rogue on point. The teleport cancel from Squiggle. And the ultimate from Raps.
An unusually aggressive play out of the Sin bottom lane. Places a pink ward in front of them just to get a Juves is actually here in this bottom lane.
No flash on the side of Lost. They've got their sight set, but look at him. He's going all in onto Raps. One more auto attack should do it, but no! Rogue with the beautiful hook saves his life, and finally, Raps gets a kill.
Lost was on an attempt for damage control to try and get a trade, but it's not enough, as well executed upon with the CC. Sin get themselves the 1 for nothing. And with the tail between his legs, the Rat makes it to safety. Juice finally gets something done. A lot of attention was on this bottom side of the map. That 100% kill participation. We're looking at a marked improvement from Sin's jungler from week to week.
Yep. This time though, Tainted Minds.
A bit ironic that he lost his wisdom teeth and he got became better over that week.
Yep. Now he doesn't have... Maybe they were causing him a little bit of pain in week 1. Could have taken away from some of that focus. Week 2, of course, when you do get your wisdom teeth, you're kind of a bit loopy. So now, focus. Dead serious. No more jokes.
Or wisdom. Only mechanics.
No more wisdom, only mechanics. Coming out of Juves here, who's doing a great job in this game. Currently 3 assists on him. Tainted Minds do get themselves the Rift Herald, handing that one over to Sazahu, of course. But now Sin, after winning a little bit in the bot lane, they've decided to translate that into a dragon, be taken uncontested.
Yeah, and that first Drake that just never went down finally is secured. We're going to find ourselves the Ocean next. A little bit more important, but at 15 minutes in the game to have the first Drake fall, there's not going to be many of them this game whatsoever. So we'll see how this progresses, where priority starts to lie.
So far, neither of these mid laners contributing to anything outside the mid lane. Both sitting on 0-0-0, where everyone else has at least a kill or a death or an assist to their name. So
making attempts though. We've seen the occasional Orianna roam.
Oh, but in the bot lane, Rogue gets taken very low. Lost just needs one more Q to do it, but Raps, being a good AD carry, blocks the Q coming out to ensure his support stays alive.
Yeah, they keep each other happy. They keep themselves alive, but it doesn't mean that they're winning this bottom lane anymore. Lost and Rosie turn up the heat. Whoa!
Oh, here comes Sazahu from the side. He's got his sight set onto Rymeister, who does have the flash, doesn't have the flash available. There is the barrier, though. Omni may have thought he'd gotten enough. Trying to get away from this one. There is Zahi. Knocks him back. Juice with nowhere to go. Omni picks up the kill in the left side as well. Tainted Minds answer back with 2 kills.
That took a lot of effort to kill Rymeister,
wow,
but they do finally secure him. No, we're cutting it way too close as Sazahu is starting to show up. Firstly, the dodge of the shockwave, but look at this. Pops the barrier. I believe gets the shield off at the last second. Omni thought he had it.
Oh,
look how close that was.
That could have gone either way.
The fact that the chains basically went through the scuttle crab as well to secure it, like that was the closest mistake that Omni has made. You never just walk away. Like, cool guys don't look at explosions as a saying, but against an Orianna, you don't know if there's going to be an explosion because it's just shields everywhere.
That's exactly right, and that could have gone either way. We saw blinking health must have been in single digits after that one. Look at the tower damage as well in that mid. Ooh, that was a close hook. Holding my breath there.
Every time we watch Rogue play League of Legends as Thresh, it's like, this guy's going to hit all these hooks. He has a fantastic time on Summoner's Rift. Honestly, it confuses me that he doesn't play it more. He's a very impressive Thresh player.
Definitely a comfort champion, currently sitting on 2-0-1 for himself. I'm sure Raps staring in envy, but he's got a kill to his name also. Finally picked himself up that Ghost Blade, so expect to see him maybe going for some of those sneaky plays in the mid.
Yeah, it's entirely possible now he's got his item. And he should be looking elsewhere on the map. Even Rymeister sitting in that bottom lane at the moment, wave clearing, is a good sign of that is definitely what's going to happen. The map now potentially a little bit more open for Sin as a team. Doesn't mean the Tainted Minds are going to back down either. They've swapped now, they got the turret. And they're up here.
Only one person in the bot lane, and that's Sazu. Everyone else has come up
Nice
to top.
hook.
A beautiful hook out of Rogue. There is Raps from the shadows. He strikes one more auto attack, should do it. Gets the flash out as well. Rosie now has to book it away, but there is Juve. Rosie flashes explosive cast from Zahi. And wow, Rogue.
And that's all you can really say about it. Wow to the Thresh. Rogue hits the hook, pretty much max range as Raps was ready, invisible. Yells hello and takes apart Lost. That's going to be a turret falling with it. And what was a proactive map movement out of the side of Tainted Minds, looking for that extra turret, looking to snowball their advantages that they had. They don't exist anymore. Sin actually pull it back.
Both these teams know what it means being in game number 3, and they are playing their hearts out back to dead even gold. Dead even kills. The only thing separating them is one dragon on the side of Sin. So still anyone's game at this stage, Rusty. Momentum, though, definitely in Sin's favor.
Yeah, definitely still anyone's game. I'm still looking at Salzahu as a potential big threat, though. It's going to be very hard to contend with as time passes. Omni not exactly having the best time at the moment himself. Will still become an issue as the game goes. Raps needs to be very particular about his plays. One mistake gets him killed, potentially the game lost. But that's just Sin's draft anyway. They've got an Orianna combo. One mistake could lose them the entire thing.
Well, unfortunately, the one who's been caught out the last 2 times has been lost. So even on this very mobile champion of Ezreal with Rosie on the Janna to back him up, Sin still finding a way to get on top of him. And really, Juice in the jungle once again, just taking away every advantage he can. Sazu going to be taking out those tunnels right now, and people starting to complete their first items, working on their second one about 20 minutes in the game here.
Yeah, that's right. Second item's coming out means the mid-game is definitely starting to arrive, and by that I mean that Sin should be starting towards their win conditions.
Oh no, Zahi, the spray and pray is down, trying to get on top of that one. There is the Ezreal ult. Does go across 2 members of Sin, but wow, Zahi got taken low.
Yeah, nice damage from the side of Sin to respond actually before the trade came out. I don't think there's any way further to stop these turrets from falling. Sin now able to start grouping, work around their Twitch, and they don't really have a split push option, which is where Tainted Minds are actually responding with by looking at bottom and top lane simultaneously. And we're actually just going to see the trade come out. So we're still close to that dead even mark. Eerily close.
Both these guys are playing phenomenally right now. Small mistakes, but they've only been positional mistakes. They're playing the map quite well. Tainted Minds know that their win conditions do lie in Saza, who's split pushing. So they want to be able to facilitate that as much as possible. Yeah,
well, they need Lost to stay alive in this middle lane as well. Zahi's going to basically be the 3-man army to round those 2 out in the bottom lane. So you have Lost, Rosie, Zahi sit together, sing songs, roast some marshmallows, and not die. You'd have a great time. Very hard to do, though, against Sin's composition because they've got a Twitch and the Thresh who has been catching them out time and again. Rymeister causing some issues and stirring up that threat. I've actually started up this Drake. Sinner 100% responding.
Yeah, 4 members of Sin. The teleport is there. Where is it? Squiggle right on top of Zahi. No teleport just yet for Sazu. The ult coming through. Dragon should be secured here. It's taken away by Juves. Tainted Mind, they look like they want to fight. They're poised very aggressively.
So they're stopping recalls firstly, and then secondly, if they find their way in, they might fight. This comes down to the teleport being burned by Squiggle and Saza, who's still having his, as to why they are doing this. Sin, however, they have absolutely responded by sending 4 straight down this middle lane.
Yeah, Omni over the side, does dodge the hook, does get knocked out, able to distort back in time. Rosie doing what he can to keep that tower safe. Sazu in the top, gets it, but Squiggle looking to make him pay. About to get stunned up, not able to avoid that one, but Squiggle gets away with his life now. Sinner in retreat.
Yeah, Squiggle gets away, but Sazahu still gets a turret and a massive advantage, and you can just see how much he is winning that lane now in a 1v1. When Rogue's standing next to the rat, it's still kind of an obvious thing. They still just want these picks, and Sinner definitely turning up that tempo, looking for their way further into this game. Turrets is step 1, but if they don't get those kills, and really can't get the turrets to show up on the board.
Rogue still Sazu rather, but look at Omni in the middle of the fight. That's not where he wants to be. Rogue has been on point with these Qs.
Yeah, Omni does well to get out at all, really. That damage was unreal. The hook, though. It is a straight line dash that Omni has, and if you want to think about where he's going to go, it's pretty predictable. If you're next to your AD carry, he's probably going to go on you. Means the hook is a realistic possibility, but the fact that he can consistently execute,
it's always impressive to watch.
We call them a mechanical bot lane for a reason. Rogue and Raps, both very young players.
And showing us just why they're earning themselves that nickname. Of course, when you're going against Lost, who has been praised as the best player on the server, doing a great job to really show us why these guys can contest here. 2-0-2 for the Twitch. Finish himself up that Runan's Hurricane. Should be able to get all that damage across. Rymeister does steal that one away, so props to him. Zahi gets hooked again. Now it's going to back away.
Gets hooked, but remember, Rymeister getting that blue is important. This is still Tainted Mind's strength, and look at him go.
Squiggle, he's forced to ulti back, gets far enough away to dissuade Sazahu from giving chase.
The thing is, ult for ult, Fiora's still going to be better for this, because without it, he's actually at a point of advantage. Rymeister's going to have to play around the shockwave quite carefully here. He needs to hit the targets.
Rogue just throwing out a warning hook in case LeBlanc went for anything sneaky.
Like, this exact lane assignment is still just one Tainted Minds won. The more that they can keep Squiggle with Sazahu, not only do they have a teleport advantage, they can hold.
Doing a good job of holding. They may actually be able to answer with a tower of their own here. Minion wave is there, but so are 4 members of Sin. And look at Jude's positioning. Kind of telling that he wants to go for a flank, but Rymeister with the ulti and gets bursted down to about 20% health here. So Omni really doing work.
Yeah, Omni definitely putting in damage. He's got his 2 big items there secured. You would imagine that Rymeister will get something when he goes back to base. Now, yeah, that'll kind of even the battle out. Doesn't mean that Omni's not going to be doing any less damage given that. So really, exactly what they want to do here, Tainted Minds. Poke with LeBlanc, poke with Ezreal, disengage with Janna and Gragas. Just don't give Sin a way in, but give Fiora every opportunity in the world. Place that vision, set her up for success. Once that Bloodthirster is done, way too powerful for Sin.
Still about 9 minutes left on that Rift Herald buff, so still has so much extra damage to play with here. Squiggle being forced to ult defensively every single time Sazahu gets on top of him, but we see Rymeister going to be soloing off his own blue buff, so he is over to the side.
Kind of just makes sense as well, watching Tainted Minds and seeing a Fiora top laner. It's almost like they never changed.
Makes a lot of sense. They played a heck of a lot of Fiora throughout the OCS.
Yeah. They were the carry team. They needed a second option throughout that top lane. Zahi very much he can play carries, but he's a facilitator. Omni does his job without fail. Doesn't mean that he's the hyper carry, but it's better to have more threats across the borders. This could be interesting.
Sazu has 3 members of Sin on top of him. Rogue also making his way down. They wanted this split push to work, maybe a little bit too much here. as the collapse from Sin is very efficient.
Yeah, so Tainted Minds actually know that there is a lot of them bottom. They can look towards this middle lane turret threateningly. I don't know if Rymeister can actually hold. We'll see how they react though. TPs are in.
There is the teleport in the back line from Squiggle. Jukes trying to get a few members in position for that shockwave. They're over to the left. Squiggle, the main point of focus, but he's getting shielded up, still has the ultimate available. Lost, doing what he can to throw those Qs up off cooldown. They saved the turret once again.
Yeah, but Squiggle can teleport in. Yeah, they saved the turret. Raps wasn't even nearby. And so that aggressive attempt at an engage with the Orianna goes missing. Doesn't mean the Tainted Minds are going to slow down. It actually means that Sin will re-engage simply because Raps is here now.
Yep. Raps is invisible. They've caught Rosie. A lot of resources expended, but Omni gets hooked by Rogue. Once again, the poison should be enough to take him down. Fiora answers with a kill onto Orianna. Sazu trying to book it out of that Squiggle, keeping him at bay. Zahi's still alive, and so is Lost, but so far it's a 2-for-1 favoring Sin.
They get nothing more, Sin, but the Dragon has just spawned, so we'll see if they look towards this. Knowing that Lost is full health, Zahi is not exactly nearby.
No, he's not.
Feels like they're just going to concede. Not very good awareness, honestly, from Zahi in that respect, but well done from Sin with a reactive play. Acknowledging that Tainted Minds wanted that turret.
Ooh. They killed Rosie before the Monsoon could even come off, so no chance for disengage. Omni gets hooked once again by Rogue in the middle of that team fight. Is very well placed, so 28 minutes in the game. Gold lead, still basically even, give or take 200, 100 gold. Kills in favor of Sin at the moment, 7-5, but they have a nice plate of dragons to play with here. Yeah. Sampling one of each flavor.
So that's who's, that's deep. That's, look. Not everyone will walk to that exact position with no buff available. You know, red buff not there. He took one of the Krugs. Raptor's not there. But he's just hanging out.
The flank might be, though. Looks like they will be donating this blue buff over to Lost.
I just don't know what Sazu is doing.
Oh, no. Zahi gets that blue buff.
Having a great time.
Unfortunate.
Look at him. Now I'm just going to go top lane and get caught out of position. What a great time to be alive.
He just has to queue over that wall. Get out of there quick, smart. Squiggle got himself a GA. 5 members of Sin grouping up around that Baron. But yeah, Sazu, he's just taking a leisurely stroll through the river, admiring the sights.
Unusually, Sin's still the ones being proactive though. Whenever Raps is nearby, Rymeister's able to threaten that shockwave, and because Rek'Sai exists, they can flash Unburrow whenever the flash is off cooldown. That's basically the easiest guarantee when a shockwave will connect. Makes you wonder where the item build will go here on the side of Tainted Minds. A QSS almost needing to be built after that blade.
You know, Lost loves to get his offensive items out of the way quick and early before even thinking about an item that doesn't do damage.
He should still have the Blade of the Ruin King before he looks towards it, simply because he needs the damage output. A lot of tanks on the side of Sin also needs to be able to shred them.
Yeah, Juves has got himself a lot of health and armor right now.
But like, this is such an unusual decision by having Rymeister constantly go to the side lanes. Not only is he the shot caller for the team that can't say fight, when he's looking at a side lane hitting that farm, he's an Orianna without a teleport.
Oh, Omni though gets knocked up by Juice. Hook goes wide, but once again the tower holds.
Yeah, and they've got a plenty of a wave clear between them all. And it's not exactly easy for the Tainted Minds team as an actual composition to get to the turrets and fight them for it, even push them off it. They don't have any siege, really. They just have damage.
The Twitch is invisible. Does go out to get some of these minions.
Pink Ward will spot him if he goes too deep, though, so he can't engage. There's no submarine rat available between the Orianna and the Twitch.
Great placement.
Good combo, by the way. Submarine rat.
The Shen?
Zahi's protecting that ward. He doesn't want to leave it.
No, he knows that it's positioned in a very good spot for their current plan. Keeping Sazu in that top lane, but Squiggle, he's going to be very hard to kill.
Pink Ward is so dead.
Yeah, there's no way.
I hope Rogue dances on it now. Just saying.
The meme lord himself, not memeing back.
Rogue wanted to play Mundo, so
yeah, so that's
let me tell you about meme lords.
That was funny. He also changed his Twitter handle to Rogi.
Yeah, I know.
Tilting me.
Hey, if someone with that much mechanical skill changed their name to me, it's sweet as. It's good.
It's a great point.
Great time on the Rift.
Now he just needs to pick up Bard.
Reason
support
being,
roster.
he would be better than me. Still, they're playing so slow.
Yeah.
Like, you can see the active attempts to get something done, but to execute is another story at the moment.
Juve just burrows out of that one. Does have the backup from his team. Squiggle just over in the blue buff brush. That GA is such a massive deterrent.
Bottom lane still got Sazahu pushing,
Oh, wow.
so they're able to play the patient game here from our blue team. Sin kind of getting caught out, looking a little bit more aggressive with their placement or their
Goes
positioning
down.
on the map. Doesn't mean they're going to get anything because they were traded out for it. Juve's losing most of his health. Baron, Dragon, both about to be up soon.
Sazahu finished himself that Bloodthirster. So now that little bit extra survivability on top of that. But Raps, lucky he has Rhymeister close by to shield him up.
Yeah, level 16 as well, Omni and Rhymeister. They're going to be doing a lot of damage. And just goes to show how volatile Raps can be.
Oh,
That
Rogue
pink
Hunter
was
with the pink
definitely,
world.
yeah.
Luckily he had 2 in his inventory.
Everyone gets 1.
Remember, mid tower still holding, despite Tainted Mind's continued positioning around there. But I guess Sazahu was able to get that bot tower, so he's doing his own thing right now, contributing a lot of global gold to the team.
But neither team really having any direction.
Yeah.
They know what they want to do, but to get from A to B, they're not doing it. They're actually just trying, but not succeeding. Sin, they want to fight. They want to actually get a pick with the Thresh, but because Thresh and Orianna have to hang around the Twitch due to the LeBlanc pressure, just hasn't actually amounted to anything. They need to place some vision in a much more...
Oh, another hook. Ooh! Rhymeister tried to predict that one with the Shockwave, but the Distort was quite far away, so Omni gets away from that one safely. But he has to learn by now, anytime he's distorting in, Rogue's going to be there with a Q available.
I mean, the end result is an even trade still.
Yeah.
And there was 3 people there. Rhymeister loses a lot of his health, but Omni just going to recall anyway. And still, we're seeing a lot of attempted play, proactive movement, but the setup isn't proactive, they're just doing it.
Tainted Mind's going to secure themselves a first dragon for themselves here. Next one up will be the Elder Drake, favoring Sin should they capture that one, as they already have 3 to their name. Sazahu wants to make the last bit of usage from his Rift Herald. Juves might be baiting himself here as we hear Twitch in the wings. Loss actually gets that one away. He's on top of Juves, very aggressively positioned here, but what's new but in the mid lane? Squiggle, the challenge has been thrown down. Twitch in the back. The Q does get blocked by the riposte. Squiggle is back in the fight. Grand challenge is down. Everyone is healing up in it. The lantern is there. Squiggle still has his GA available. No, it comes back up from an Omni. Takes him down, and a bit of an over-aggressive play.
Yeah, so well done from Tainted Minds. They actually break that middle lane turret by brute forcing a fight. Sin, they still find themselves in an awkward position, and with the Baron available, remember that the Shockwave is there, and that the Twitch ultimate is also available. They could fight for this one if they choose. Easier said than done, though.
Oh, Lost gets hooked, but he is able to eat out in time. The fight is well and truly in effect. Omni on the back, trying to get a rub. There is Sazahu just annihilating everyone. Rhymeister gets the ulti, but it's not enough. He goes in, he gets lost. He's looking for one more. Omni is on the back foot. Sazahu cleans it up, though, but Zahi is still going. He's got his sight set on the jungler and the support. Rogue says, see you later. Books it out of there, but now Juves is in trouble. Is able to tunnel out, but the barrel, not enough.
Zahi doesn't connect with the barrel to finish them off and knock Juves back. 3 people dead on the side of Sin. No Baron to be seen, however. And everything's probably just going to mellow out once more. Rhymeister comes up so clutch in that fight. If that Shockwave in the follow-up wasn't there, that was absolutely going to be a disaster. Making the best out of a horrible situation with Sin just then.
Baron doesn't go down either.
Yeah, but you can see the hook that kicks it all off as well. Rogue just doesn't know how to miss. Omni puts in some damage. Besides that, he's going back into the Baron, however, and that's where the damage was from Rye. Too many shields. The fact that those chains missed almost made it 3 kills. for Rymeister, but Sazo having that double buff puts them into full retreat. Tainted Minds, too little too late was that kick. Great idea, missed execution. Still, we can see the strength. Even Fiora with this item build has team fighting prowess. So much lifesteal and so much damage.
Raps looking to make a play, but Zahi is the one who gets hooked flayed into the box, trying to walk away from this one, but the shields are completely real Rosie, negating any damage.
Yeah, Zahi took a net amount of 0 to the face, even though it looked like he was taking spells. Sin still having control of the Baron area in this top side of the river. Tainted Minds being aggressive with their attempts to even get vision.
They know that no teleport is available on the Fiora, so they're trying to make the best of this. Juice coming in, Squiggles onto Omni, but Omni still hurts. Low on mana, though. There is the Shockwave, huge onto both the carries. Drozy trying to keep them alive with the Monsoon. It's not going to matter, though, as Raps with the Rat-a-tat-tat takes out the Ezreal. Got his sight set onto Zahi now. Full retreat of the squad of Tainted Minds as Rymeister gives himself a double.
And Tainted Minds have suddenly decided that the team fighting option is their only option. They group up as a team near the Baron, but they get completely whitewashed. Jubes has that flash knock-up. Orianna Shockwave always going to follow it. The dynamic duo, jungle and mid. They get exactly what the team of Sin was looking for. Team fight, Baron, control of the map should now be theirs.
All 5 members now have that Baron. A huge team fight win for Sin.
Yeah, and it's all on the back of Jubes and Rymeister. Squiggle does a lot of work in pushing Omni out, actually wasting spells.
Beautiful.
It was actually unlucky that Rosie didn't get knocked up with it. But at this point, Rosie's ultimate was a too little too late scenario. Raps, man, the amount of damage that Twitch is doing as well. Things looking really good here for Sin. If they can actually utilize this Baron and get a whole lot more. They just get a turret.
Yeah, looking across at Raps now, he's got himself that Infinity Edge well and truly completed. Now starting what looks like his defensive items. Whereas Lost, going for more damage. Wants to get that Last Whisper item.
It's a hard choice. Needs the Last Whisper because they have armor everywhere.
Yeah.
Also wants to have sustain, but he can't afford it. You get to choose the red or the blue pill.
So after that fight, the gold lead is now in favor of Sin, but not by a lot. It's all going to be on the back of these Baron minions to help them crack the base. They have Juice splitting, which is wise considering that Squiggle doesn't have his teleport available. Omni trying to do what he can, but his mana pool is getting low.
Yeah.
Turret goes down for free.
So that turret was never going to be defended by Tainted Minds. They actually wanted Sazahu to get some progress on that bottom lane and then react accordingly to the team. Echo actually joining him, but he's still going to recall. Maybe it means he has an item. Also means that Elder is up in a minute, or less than a minute now. I was looking at the grey egg timer.
Sin, they're well and truly in control of this map, and they can dictate how they want this dragon fight to go. Juve, flash, not off cooldown just yet, so won't have the flash knock-up followed by the shockwave available.
I just think the decision to be outright team fighting with the Fiora in Tainted Minds composition is a mistake. Even giving Sin the opportunity to walk straight at you, not going to work out. They were 100% baiting that Baron. It was evidenced through their positioning. They never left the bush. And still, Tainted Minds give them opportunities. Just play around your Fiora. They've got a top lane of minions pushing right now. Fiora can go bottom. They have to fight for this one now, to be fair.
Yeah, the Baron and the Elder Dragon buffs in succession will be the undoing of Tainted Minds if they can't defend against this one. Rymeister has enough shields to keep him safe. 5,000 health and ticking. Only one member gets hit by the shockwave. That's going to be the go button for Tainted Minds. They're all in right now in the back. Rogue and Raps doing what they can. The Rat-a-tat-tat just spelling disaster for Tainted Minds. Now lost. He's been found out by Squiggle, trying to get away from this one, but the Echo is having none of it. Ults back in. The Dragon does fall on the side of Rogue. Going for his S+ this game, currently deathless. And
an eerily non-committal play from Tainted Minds. Felt like they wanted to fight, but they just didn't. Sazahu just doesn't commit. Rymeister had no health. Just go for him. Actually draw attention towards yourself. Give your carries an opportunity to put in work. Squiggle does exactly that. And now they are well and truly in the driver's seat for this game.
This tower is just melting right now, Rusty. Look how many minions they've got empowered also by the Dragon Sin. They're looking to win this game. Number 3, another hook onto Omni. He's going to get taken down. One more attack should do it. He flashes out of there, but it's not going to be enough as Juve takes down that one. The bottom inhibitor does fall. Look at the minions. 3 cannons to be exact, streaming in the base.
Yeah, they are just so powerful right now. Sin working with low health bars, but it should not matter. They hit the fight.
Oh, Sazu, he's getting focused now. Raps just doing so much damage. The Tornado does buy them a little bit of time, but now Sin, they've got their sights set on this tower. Zahi doing what he can, but Squiggle, he's got the GA, he's got the ulti, he's not dying anytime soon. Raps using that Q attack speed to help
nice
out. Lost, gets hooked, he's about to go down. The shockwave keeps Sazu at bay. Juice is in a little bit too deep, flashes out of that one. Raps takes out Rosie. The tower still does stand.
Yeah, they've lost that Baron buff. What they do still have is the Elder Dragon. They might not be able to finish this one off, but they were damn close.
Raps in a little bit of trouble now. The hook, the lantern rather, is there. Box goes down defensively. Zahu and Sazahu want to make a play here. Zahi just gets poked out. No hook landing. The Venomous Cast keeping them slowed while they back off.
Yeah, but still they force them back. So Sin can't end the game, though it looked like they might have been able to. And we have to start from scratch one more time. Considering the inhibitor is now down though, Tainted Minds have less options on the board. It's not a position they wanted to find themselves in. Lost keeps getting hooked. Omni keeps getting hooked. Rogue is hitting everything.
3-0-10 right now. Impressing the heck out of me in game number 3, being the carry in the support role that his team needs. Raps unfortunately has a death, or else they'll be mirroring scores.
No. And the hooks are hitting priority targets. I also just feel like positioning from Tainted Minds for team fighting is definitely lacking. Like Sazahu having a flank, great. You're a Fiora, have the flank. If you don't commit to that flank, you just kind of watch your team get ran at, and you're not doing your job. He should, if he can't execute that team fight with that flank, either stand in front of your team or split push. Make that decision.
Well, it looks like they want to go in on Jude's explosive cast, used to knock him back. He's still alive. Omni finishes him off with that one. Rogue not in position to help him. That is the jungler from Sin, down with a minute left on the Baron.
He'll be up in time for the Baron, has a tunnel nearby. With Juve's Court warding, could actually give a bit of control on the map, at least in the way of wards, for our currently losing blue team. See how they work around this.
44 minutes in the game, 15 kills to 9 in favor of Sin. About a 5,000 gold lead. Sin doing what they can to make sure these 4th and 5th items help them secure this win. Sazu, this split push is going to take a lot of time now that the supers are starting to stack.
Yeah, he won't be able to actually split push. He's just going to be sitting in the side lane clearing. Teleport available for the Fiora will be very handy and actually necessary, because Sin, with 20 minutes until the Baron is there, would not be shocked to see them go straight onto it the second it spawns.
Raps, he's completed himself the Banshee's Veil, so it's going to be difficult for Omni to get a majority of that damage out early on. Not going to be able to proc the second, the first Malice.
Noriana still definitely doing work. I think Sin as a team composition still okay. A lot better than game number 2.
So he's got himself that GA now. All 5 members focusing down this Baron.
It's getting blasted.
Rogue. Speaking of getting blasted, Rogue gets taken down to about 30% health. They have to retreat off this Baron. They got to respect the damage.
Tainted should just go mid though. Depending on what Sin do at the moment, they could threaten that middle lane, work their way back in if the Baron started up again. But they also need to defend their Nexus.
Oh no, the Nexus tower, the last defending tower, is going to be under siege from those siege minions. 7,000 health left on the Baron. Omni not able to find anything just yet. Zahi is in on the fight, trying to get onto Rogue. There is Sazu. He's got Rhymeister in his sight. Zahi is still alive somehow. Sazu in the middle of the fight. The shockwave hitting 3 members. Huge. Rhymeister does go down somehow. Sazu is still alive.
Nice.
Here comes Omni re-engaging the fight. Rogue doing what he can. He goes down, but he does have the GA available. Squiggle lives on a slither of health. Sin in full retreat.
So Tainted Minds hold the team fight, and just barely they don't win. Look at those blinking health bars of the Sin members. The Baron looks like it's going to be a point where they want to do it. I don't think they'll be able to because their Nexus was actually running the risk of dying. As you can see, it was eerily close. Zahi got back just in time. If anyone else died from Tainted Minds, it could well have been the game.
We're always going to have that in the back of the mind that Raps can just stealth in there and finish the game.
Tell you what, the amount of damage that Salza, who did in that last team fight, was ridiculous. He just straight up killed Rymeister, got all 4 procs on the ultimate, and then just healed his way back up through them all anyway.
Well, that's what you wanted him to do, Rusty, so...
Yeah, well, he didn't flank. He stood in front of them. That's exactly what I wanted him to do, and to see him do that makes a lot of sense.
He's in a really good spot right now. His GA was popped.
Looks
like a fight. Zahi is in the middle of it. The teleport from Zaza, who comes out. Rogue is going to be the main focus. The Grand Challenge does get proc. Juves getting a lot of damage on the back of that one. Rogue goes down. Juves now follows shortly after.
That's going to be really painful for Sin. That's 50 seconds and 60 seconds for each respective member. Baron 100% started. The only option that Sin have at present is desperate attempt to stop them.
Oh no. Zaza, who went down to bot. There is the teleport. Look at Raps outputting as much damage as he can. They get the Baron, but Lost might fall for it. Squiggle coming around the left. Raps coming around the right. They've got that empowered recall. Will allow them to get out in time. Oh, Zahi does get stopped by the poison cast on the top, on the Rosie and Lost. They're trying their best. The shockwave only hitting Rosie. Might not be enough. Squiggle doing what he can, but there is Raps. Takes out Lost, and 3 members of Sin looking to get on top of Zahi.
Zaza, who might actually want this fight.
No, Zaza, he goes back in. He gets one. He's looking for the second one. The GA is available. Knocks him a little bit too far away, but Rymeister goes down. Zaza looking for a triple. Going to get the tower as a consolation prize. There is nowhere for Squiggle to go. He's trying to stun up, but there is Omni in the side as well. Game 3, ladies and gentlemen.
This Fiora is going off. I tell you what, strong early game. Stumbles in the mid-game, but comes to this 40-minute stage and just goes off. They still need to defend their base, but they have the Baron buff. They should be able to turn control of this map back around. And we've gone all the way so far in this game number 3 between Tainted Minds and Sin.
After all things said and done, 50 minutes in the game, 80,000 gold plus for both teams. 17 kills for Sin, 15 for Tainted Minds.
And 8-1 and 5 is Sazahu right now.
Wow, he just exploded those last 2 team fights.
This Baron buff is going to prove invaluable for them. That's the easiest base broken. 2 seconds on Raps, they know that. They should be able to get this in time and get out. No problems.
Nothing Rogue can do to defend that, those minions. Quite a nuisance, but shouldn't be trouble for Raps' Twitch. Does have the Runar's Hurricane. The
real game plan, however, now that the top lane inhibitor should be broken, is towards the Elder Dragon. Remember that we call the bottom lane inhibitor the Baron inhib, simply because it's the furthest distance away. But with no teleports available for Sin, and the Elder up in a minute, it means that the top lane inhibitor is now effectively the Elder Dragon inhib.
It's a great point to make, and Sin, we've got 2 members still up there. Still got a little bit of time before this Elder Dragon does spawn, but that allows Tainted Minds to get in all the vision their hearts desire.
We've hit this point in the game where there was a massive lull. That lull exploded into action, but it's also sloppiness that kind of let this happen. So Sin in complete control give a way back into Tainted Minds who take it. We'll see if the same happens or if our blue team can close out with the advantage that they have. Not in the way of gold, but simply because they have that Baron and can control minions.
All 5 members of Tainted Minds are grouped down in this bottom lane looking to get that return inhibitor. The top one is pushing Juves, the only person there not known for the wave clear is Rek'Sai, and Squiggle taken down to about half health. The hook narrowly missing onto Zahi, but the last target you really wanted on.
In terms of lane assignment, that is quite clever though from Sin. Have Juves there. But sooner or later, they'll have to commit to this, Sin. They have to hit that shockwave. Once again, it needs to hit targets.
Juves is quite tanky. Keep an eye on the Orianna ball positioning right now. These minions are just going to take out this tower. Whether Sin like it or not, it goes down. Banner of Command empowered Baron Cannon minion. Now that's a mouthful to say, but Rogue misses the hook onto Sazu. Would have been riposted otherwise. Sin looks like they want to fight this one.
Yeah, well, you have to remember the Dragon's also live. Tainted Minds don't need it. but they could go and get it whilst they have control of this map. Whoa, Shockwave's on.
It's 2 members. It is on the tankiest one to boot. Rymeister gets knocked into the fight. Zaza, who is still alive. The hook onto Zahi. Where is the damage loss trying to do? He can't get past Squiggle. Zahi now has to tank an inhibitor turret to get out. So far, every single person is still alive.
How is Gragas even alive? Look at where he is.
Run, Graggy, run!
Everyone gets out. Elder Dragon now about to be started by Tainted Minds, you would imagine. Sin, if they want any chance at the rest of this game, they should fight for it.
Teleport is coming in for Sazahu. Will be full health, making his way to that Elder. Here come the members of Sin. They don't want to give this one up just yet. Shockwave still on cooldown. Sazahu, he's gone in onto Jubes.
Good
the Dragon, it's getting low. Sazahu trying to keep them all at bay, but this Dragon doing too much damage. It's too tanky. The hook narrowly missing lost there.
We're still waiting for this to actually break. The Dragon has a lot of health, and Sin have pushed Tainted Minds away from rushing it. There's no smite battle to be seen, but look at what's happening. Yeah, on the top side of the map, play around those minions. Force some recalls. Sin with no teleport, no Rek'Sai ultimate, and no way to get there. No choice.
The call to give it up has been made just as the Shockwave comes off cooldown, so unfortunate to say the least for Sin Gaming here, but I do believe it was the correct call. Remember, Tainted Minds don't actually have any towers defending their Nexus lane.
Yeah, well, they also just have a single Cloud Drake on the side of Tainted Minds. So what they get from this is 90 damage on hit over the period of time that the burn lasts, just like the old Dragon 5 would be. Just that it now does a set amount of damage. And it's not going to provide them a whole lot as a 90-second buff, forcing recalls. Really, it's just going to set them up once again for this Baron. The next team fight probably going to decide the game's outcome, given that Sin have held.
Yep, everyone reaching their full damage potential right now. Everyone on about 6 items. The supports and junglers maybe the only ones lacking right now. But as you mentioned, Rosie, he gets caught out, does flash in time, keeping himself safe. There is Lost though, wanting to get the damage down onto Raps, using that ultimate. And Zahi make anything happen. Squiggle, he's in trouble. Juve's gonna try and keep him safe, but once again, everyone is just on the back foot here.
Yeah, Sin have to be careful. That was a lot of damage out of Raps onto Rosie. And Lost even held position and tried to fight him.
I'm surprised Rosie survived that.
Yeah, so am I.
A 6-item Twitch.
But you have to consider that he is still alive. And now the reaction from Tainted Minds was this bottom lane inhibitor. That's not going to be an easy take. Not by any means.
Shockwave still available. Remember, they got the Dragon, Elder Dragon buff on the team of Tainted Minds. Very aggressive positioning here. They want this inhibitor. They want Sin to have to fight for it. Lost. Very aggressive positioning.
One Shockwave to rule them all.
That's it. Waiting for. Kind of baiting it out there. Hoping that he went for it. Omni though. He's able to distort back in time. Zahi does dodge the hook. All 5 members from Sin well and truly grouped up. Look at the damage every auto attack is doing out of Lost. Zahi realizes that he has to back off after this one. Squiggle though, trying to go for something. He is Saz, who blocks the hook out. Does stun up Squiggle, the ultimate from Ezreal. Rymeister, he's been hit. He's gone in. He gets knocked back in. Uses his own, his Hourglass, the inhibitor. Not the focus just yet. Rymeister has to flash, but Sazu might be the one to go down here. The inhibitor falls. Sazu who falls. He's got the Guardian Angel. Don't think he's getting away from this one, as there is Raps. The damage well and truly down. They kill the Fiora. They get the inhibitor though.
That is 2 inhibitors down, but it is also the Fiora for 70 whole seconds.
Wow.
Sin with the Baron available might be looking towards this one. And we've hit a point past endgame where items don't matter, kills do. And this is probably one of the more influential kills of the game, because that Baron has been straight started and will be done reasonably quickly with Raps and Squiggle there. We'll see if Tainted Minds can be here on time, or if they're going to be too late.
Yeah, I don't think they have it. I don't think they have it in them, regardless of if they were there in time. Without Zaza, who's been the crux of the last 3 fights, just being able to stand in front of his team, get on top of Rymeister, who did a great job of surviving that. He got Grand Challenge, he got Explosive Cast, he was still able to get off the Zonias, flash back to safety, then get the Shockwave.
This is still 30 seconds, or 20 now without the Fiora. That's a lot of minions. The Baron empowerment. They potentially could have just disregarded minions and went towards the bottom lane. We'll see how they play this one out, however, because that's a lot of pressure they could get on this.
They're trying their darndest to take that one off. Raps just melting this tower. Should get it, no trouble. They're not going to go for the inhib. Not biting off more they can chew just yet. Still respecting Sarza, who does have teleport available. Should any flank shenanigans happen? See a bush strat though.
So they've got the Baron, means it's denied from Tainted Minds, and that was important.
Ooh, sneaky,
They're
sneaky.
cheesing in a bush.
Cheesing's what Twitch does best, Rusky.
Well, it's not, but
He's a rat, man.
he does it well. I mean, like, he's a rat, so smelling badly is what he does best. Like, if we're gonna really, or having a long nose, perhaps. Like, he eats cheese, he doesn't do cheese. He's not cheese, he's a rat. Sorry, I just felt the need to
That's all right.
correct that one.
Nah, I think Twitch is a pretty cheesy champion.
Tainted Minds are still pushing though. They're up against a Baron buff Sin. They're the ones trying to take it to them. Only one lane remains. One inhibitor, I should say, remains. But the top one will be up pretty soon.
2 Guardian Angels on the side of Sin on both of their tanks. Saz, who's still off cooldown right now. Omni trying to take out those wards, deny what vision he can. Recently, he's been going for Rogue in these last few team fights, so definitely respecting the hook pressure that he's exerting these fights.
Yeah, well, forcing a backwards positioning from the support is actually a pretty good strategy. He's going to take a lot of damage, no sustain as well to keep him healthy. And the rest of them have a lot of MR, whereas he has it sparing. Just the 2 small MR items. Still, they can't break this. They've got 2 inhibitors, but they can't break the 3rd.
Yeah, this top one will be coming up very soon. Tainted Minds, narrowly avoiding the hook from Rogue.
We're getting towards the unreasonably large farm amounts as well. Everyone's broken the 100k gold mark. We're almost at 60 minutes into this game.
My God.
Taking their sweet time to execute on a finishing move, either team. But that's because we are so late in this game. Remember, Tainted Minds are a new team.
Oh, Omni goes in, tries to get the damage out onto Juice, but takes more than he's willing to part with here.
I don't know why he took that much damage for both.
He got knocked up.
But having to recall actually wastes a lot of time and gives control back to Sin, who can now clear out top. Saza, who can't overstay his welcome or he'd die. They can clear out bottom, which is already pushing for them. They can try and work around the next epic monster that's going to be up. Honestly, probably going to be the big thing.
These guys have been neck and neck for 60 minutes so far. Sin, it looked like they were about to break free, and then Tainted Mind said, nah, caught back up, and we're back in this standoff stage of the game where the next team fight certainly will be deciding it.
You would imagine.
With 70-second death time, but I hope so. I hope so, Rusty.
Yeah, but what if it's an even trade,
Ooh.
right? Like, how does the fight decide it?
The win.
Next, what we'll say is the next big decision probably decide the game.
The big decision decides it.
Because the fight could be like a big decision. What if the big decision is a split switch?
It's a fair call. We see Saza, who's been doing it all game. Yeah, he would change up his ways, but recently he has been in those team fights. Being that front line, does have a lot of shield coming off that Bloodthirster.
And he should be threatening on that top side, knowing that Squiggle's bottom with the inhibitor literally up now. Thank you, notification.
Yep, there we go.
Both of them.
Good timing for Sin here. Don't know about this damage onto Juice. Not really doing a lot. He still has a Guardian Angel available. Hook's just being thrown off cooldown. There is a Rat-a-tat-tat. Not hitting anyone just yet.
No, it's to clear the way, but look how low this turret is. Omni can just hit it.
Yep, there we go. Rymeister, though. Luckily,
They're now breaking.
they're trying their best here. The inhibitors are now really in threat. Squiggle doing what he can. Here comes Rogue to help out. The middle inhibitor does go down. The bottom one falls in an instant. That's 2 inhibitors down. Shouldn't be any issue for Sazahu to pick up this top one. That's 3 inhibitors down. Sin feeling the pressure. The shockwave onto one member. I don't know about this one if they can kill him. They're trying their best. He's turning his attention back around. Still has a Guardian Angel available, but now he's booking it. Squiggle in hot pursuit, but the rest of Tainted Minds are still in the base.
Yeah, so Tainted Minds are pursuing this as a 4v4, matter of factly, inside that base. Squiggle's going to look for the kill, but they're not going to get it, so they're just going to hit each other.
Squiggle, he's been caught from the flank from his own base. They're trying to get him down. They get the GA, but here is Juve. The hook comes through onto Zahi. There is the box. Where are the carries? Raps just in the back line. Looks like he should be picking up Zahi any second now. Hook does go a little bit wide, does get him in the end with the flay. Squiggle takes out Zahi.
But that's one person dead off the back of a very extended trade for 3 inhibitors that have just been taken. Remembering that 1 minute is how long we have until each major objective is there again. They'd be getting pretty sick of dying, the Baron and the Dragon. And at this point, I don't know if Sin can afford to leave their base to contest these.
Oh no, certainly not. With 3 inhibitors down, 2 super minions pouring in from each lane, and all inhibitors went down relatively the same amount of at the same time here. So it's going to be very hard for Sin to even think about leaving the base.
The positive thing is probably that Zahi is dead. So like, if they want to look for an objective, they're up at the exact same time as the Smite is. They'd have to walk there. They could try and rush something if they have all 3 waves pushed out. Easier said than done, given that the top lane wave will have Juves attending it, bottom lane wave will have Squiggle attending it, and the mid lane will have the rest.
2. Banshee's Veil's been picked up for these carries. Sazu looking to make something happen. The ulti from Lost pops Raps as one. Q out of Omni doing that, but look at the damage being answered back. Rymeister doesn't need mana to do damage.
Well, he does. He just doesn't have any mana left now. It will mini recalls, naturally, but we can see the Baron's up. You know the Rymeister has to go back to base now because of that trade. We also know that Omni was in base. We'll see how they play this part out, because Juves is making his way in, and he's crying loudly about it.
They're trying their best to get this 4th Baron of the game here. Sazu tanking it up. He is so damn tanky. Where is Zahi? Finally in the mix. Orianna nowhere to be seen. Sazu going to go in and distract everyone right now. Blocks the hook, stuns the Juve. The Baron goes down in favor.
Now Juve is dead.
He goes over the wall, has to flash back, takes the Lantern, does have the Guardian Angel still available.
And Tainted Minds probably don't even need to look towards this Elder Dragon. They can get it as a matter of security. Bit of extra damage on the board for them as a team composition. And at 64 minutes into this game, we might be finding the final piece of the Tainted Minds puzzle to get a victory.
They're trying their best, taking down the 7th Dragon of the game, the 3rd Elder Dragon as well. So 4 Barons, 3 Elder Dragons. And this should be, like you said, the last piece of the puzzle the Tainted Minds need to take this best of 3. Game number 3 here. They've been playing impeccably all game along.
And if they don't win after this, I don't know what will let them win. Get ready to have like a sleepover, put on your pajamas. You're in for the long haul.
Rogue just off to the wings. We've seen his hooks on point every single team fight. Omni.
Just push in. Tainted Minds should just get in, augment the minions with the Baron buff, make all 3 lanes pressure Sin. They will actually just start breaking the turrets with you there.
Here come the bot wave. Zahi and Rosie looking like the main focal point.
Omni should be on the bottom.
Trying to go in here onto Raps. Everyone focus on the top side of the map because that's where Sazu is a hook onto Zahi. They've gone all in and they should be able to kill him. Rymeister gets a kill onto that one, but here come the Baron empowered minion. Squiggle doing what he can to keep them at bay. Forced to ult the tower, does go down. That's a naked Nexus with 4 members. A massive amount of super minions, but can TM end? They're trying their best. The hook onto Omni. Is anyone there to get him? The Zonians goes down. There's the Monsoon to keep him safe. The Shockwave only onto Rosie. That's the last person they want to hit. Omni's going in. The Nexus starting to take a little bit of damage. There falls Sazu. Lost. He needs to get this one. He's getting lower and lower. Lost falls. The Nexus is going down. A few more auto attacks are doing a Tainted Mind. Take game number 3 over Sin Gaming.
Took them 65, almost 66 minutes, but somehow they actually get themselves over that line. It took 3 Barons.
4 Barons?
4 Barons, 3 Elder Dragons, and 7 Drakes total. Whoa.
That game was absolutely insane. Sin, they did a valiant effort of defending, and Tainted Minds, they just went balls to the wall. It didn't matter if they died. They just needed the super minions pounding away on that Nexus, and in the end, that's what got the last hit.
Yeah, and look, a lot of credit has to be given to Rogue as well, hitting all of these clutch hooks and stopping any onslaught from happening. But most importantly, Sazahu showed up to play in game number 3. It was actually a big Fiora. All mistakes aside, they got to late game. They still did their job where it counted. And Tainted Minds actually make Frostgurn get a tip wrong.
Super impressed by those two squads, but we're going to send it back to the analyst desk to give us what they think of that 70-minute massive game.
Thank you so much, Rogi. What a massacre in the end. Both teams just throwing themselves at each other, I think it's pretty fair to say. But Tainted Minds do come up the victor. I do want to go back in time. Cast your minds back quite a while, to about 65 minutes ago, and talk me through what happened at level 3 and level 4 there for the top lane.
Okay, so I play a little bit of top lane in Dynamic Q, and I think the top laner's worst nightmare early game is to have to back early, TP back to lane, and then die, and then get your minions pushing your turret, and then from that point, Sazahu just got monstrous.
But Spooks, going to share something to you, little known secret. You don't have to do these things. You can just win your lane normally. But
obviously.
Yeah, what was up with that, Frosco? Because I know like you were speaking about it, war of attrition when you pick up Dark Sealer. He just overreached there for absolutely no reason. He didn't have to win the lane.
No, he didn't have to at all. The purpose of Echo in that situation, like literally just neutralize or even survive. At some point, you just got to get tanky and you'll just walk past at 0. That's your only job in that situation. You don't have to win it. You just need to destroy the enemy AD carry. So stop playing the lane to win. Play for your team's responsibility.
But at the end of the day, none of that really mattered because we did go super late. I mean, Rogue pulls them back at certain points. Rymeister has huge plays. On the other side, Zaza, goes absolutely monstrous. So I want to actually, before we get into the replay, have you speak us through it, Spooks. What is your mindset? Like, you're one of the OPL veterans. You've been around for a while now, a bit old. Like, what is your mindset going into these late game fights?
Okay, well, I guess once you get to the stage in which like you've taken down the neutral objectives, I think by the end, Tainted Minds have had both Dragon and Baron, and at that stage you don't even have to team fight. Like your minions become your biggest tool. They just pushed in the base. They just outside of Zahi getting caught, all they have to do is wait for the minions to push in, and you can just win off that. And
what's Sin's mistake? Is Sin's mistake not going earlier? Is it being hesitant?
Yeah, well, their whole draft is revolved around engage, right? Like they want to land the wombo combo with Twitch and Orianna. And they just, I don't know, they kind of just sat back and let the minions win.
All right, with that in mind, we're actually going to pull up the replay. It is the last team fight. Or what was a minion massacre? And Frost, just walk us through this one.
I mean, Spooks already said it. It's this idea that they need to go right this second. Like, you waited too long, your base gets flooded, and so they're effectively fighting all of Tainted Minds as well as a massive horde of creeps behind them. Initially, Zahi does blow up. He does manage to get his cask off, which effectively just means damage and kind of resets any sort of engagement. And Rosie actually does a good job with his Janna ultimate as soon as they get another hook on Omni. I think he goes straight into stasis and then Rosie resets the positioning there. But yeah, there we go. Straight into Zanya's and then Rosie resets them so he can't follow up with any other CC. But it doesn't matter because Sin, they waited too long. They're fighting all of Tainted Minds as well as 20 million creeps.
Yeah, and that's actually how the game ends. You know, the creeps just overrun the base.
Because effectively they were going to win this team fight, and they lost their base before they could even win the team fight.
I completely agree, and that's what I was saying. I can't believe that there is a game of League of Legends in which there is a 6-item Orianna and a 6-item Twitch playing against a LeBlanc, and I'm like, they're going to get outscaled. Because at the end of the day, you know, the way that the Sim were playing always on the back foot just didn't facilitate that proactive play. And in the end, that means that Tainted Minds were able to pick up the 2-1 victory. However, guys, we do have more League of Legends action coming up just around the corner, so don't go anywhere because we will be back as Mickey Whale's Legacy take to Summoner's Rift. Stick around.